Hello and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And there is something very important which was raised by Botswana president. And we need to take a look onto that very seriously because it concerns the issues of procurement. Remember, African procurement, that there is a lot of inflated prices. Zigananda, for example, right here in Zimbabwe, you could see that there is a refurbishment of hospitals which is going to happen, recapacitation of hospitals which is going to happen. The actual cost of whatever which they are going to do is not even more than 100 million, but they've procured it up to nearly 500 million. Where is the other 400 million going to? That is the most important question, and it's answered right here.
System. Government says we need X amount of Panado. There's a tender process. 10, 15, 20 people go and collude behind the scenes. They come and they in fact meet. No, this one must be won by me, please. Let me, they all cook the figures. They bring them to you. And you buy. And because they need to make money, they'll tell you, you know, the manufacturer, you want 10,000 of this product. The manufacturer only sells them in batches of 100,000. So you can't buy 10,000. But you only need 10,000. So what do you then do? Because you need the 10,000 desperately. You buy the 100,000 in order to use only 10,000. And then the 90,000 will expire in your hands. And you've spent money that you don't have. This is what has been happening. And across. Equipment, medical equipment, same story. Medications, same story. And when you walk in, people say, let's continue with the tender process. I said, no. No, not me. Not now. Maybe not ever, but certainly not now. So what are we in the process of doing? I went then, engaged with the manufacturers directly. Cipla, whoever you are, come here. You manufacture medicines, right? Yes. And you want buyers for your medicines? Yes. And I'm a buyer? Yes. Why can I not get this directly from you and not have a chain of people in between? They say, no, you can. And it turns out, if you take that route, you reduce the cost by 70%. Can you believe? 70%. That's the saving you make when you deal directly with the manufacturer. Meaning, therefore, that something called CMS, Central Medical Stores, has not served its purpose. What do you do with a government entity that does not serve any purpose except to drain the fiscus? These are some of the challenges to try and repair.
So this is a sound argument being made by Botswana president right there, and it's a lesson to other African looters and dictators, because these people, they've been looting the coffers dry, and no consequences follow. What we need to understand is saving around 70% of state money. You are not affecting anything negatively. I'm telling you, I have seen a lot of people arguing. There are a sort of arguments which are coming to say you are going to affect how people are employed whatsoever. But which people are you talking about? Because medicines are being procured from the manufacturers. What is needed is for the manufacturer to simply give the medication to the government, or the government to facilitate the shipping of the medicines from the manufacturer to the government warehouses. That is what is needed. So there is no disruption in terms of employment right there. What is there is symbol. No job creation is disrupted. No growth is disrupted. What is disrupted is corruption, profiteering. 70% being saved. And then you have the central storage, which deals with the medicines in case of Botswana. In case of Zimbabwe, we have NatFarm, which is supposed to be a government entity. But when you look at the procurement processes themselves, there are people who are in between who are making money out of nothing. So you will see that the people who have been benefiting from all these things, they will run around and say, this is wrong, this is not good, whatsoever. There are so many players in the supply chain. There are so many crooks, not players. There are so many thieves and illegal beneficiaries in between. Those are the people who are angry with such decisions when they are made. So in Zimbabwe, you will be told that the procurement will go to a private individual who is going to earn over 400 million in profit. Who gets over 400 million in profit out of 500 million? Imagine the madness. 500 million is there. Somebody gets over 400 million in profit. So this is not a Zimbabwean problem only. It's an African problem. It has been happening across Africa, everywhere. Then you will be told by somebody, when you are saving 70%, that 70% is going towards other things. Yes, it's going towards other things. So there is a country which is going to buy medicines and equipment for 500 million, which are worth less than 100 million. Then 400 goes as profit into the pockets of individuals. Then they will have something which need an investment, and they will call investors which will come with little money. Yes, I'm telling you, the investors we are seeing dotted across Zimbabwe, they are coming with little investments. They will come with 30 million investment, 50 million investment, 100 million investment. Why not take that 400 million you are giving to Sgananda and then invest in your mines, invest in government-owned mines, so that you have your own gold mines, you have your own platinum mines, you have your own chrome mines. They will never do it because they are there in government to profit here. They are there in government to make money. They are there in government to make sure that they do everything for themselves. Instead of giving people water in the low world, instead of using 400 million, which will go into the pockets of Sgananda, instead of using that money to give people in the low world irrigation water, you are displacing them, making them more poor. Imagine if the people in the low world had been given water. Vanenge vapiwa naka, vanenge vabviswa munhamo nemunzara. The government won't even bother to give those people food. Those people will be filthy rich, filthy wealthy, because they will do farming 24/7. The nation will be fed, their families will be fed, they will have money, their status will be upgraded. But this government is still bent to make sure that they upgrade the status of Sgananda instead of the status of the people. So they don't care about you, they don't care about us, they care about themselves, they care about profiteering, they care about making more money. So we need leadership, which is going to say procurement must be done by these ministries. If you go to each and every ministry in Zimbabwe, there is a procurement department. That procurement department cannot go to OK Supermarket to procure, cannot go to companies which manufacture drugs to procure directly. They will need go-betweens. Why can't you employ the people with the knowledge of medicines in the ministries who will know? It's easy, even without the employment of such people, it's easy. You have Parenyatwa Hospital, you have Harare Hospital, you have Masvingo General, you have Rusape General, Marondera General. They all give you what they need per year. So they are using the statistics from from previous years, probably the 5 years before. They find the average, and then they come and say, this is what we need in terms of drugs. According to the demand, this is what we need. In terms of equipment, this is what we need. And the ministry, it simply goes to procure what is there. It's simple as that. You don't need third parties, you don't need middlemen. There are things which must be procured directly by the ministries. But it's not happening because there are people who must make money in between. So when are they going to do serious business, legitimate business? When are they going to focus on things which bring growth? So they will tell you about other people and they'll say so and so, they are making money with A, B, C, D. What they're not going to tell you is, if you go to other countries, wealthy countries, these are people who will be adding value. These are people who will be creating value. When you see a contract between the government of America and Boeing, Boeing is the manufacturer. When you see the government of America, we're getting into a contract with SpaceX, it's the government and the SpaceX directly having a deal. In Zimbabwe, show us a manufacturer who is manufacturing medicines, who does not have a chance to get into a contract with the government directly. Why do we need a third party? MuZimbabwe kana mukagadzirwa chagadzirwa, even ukagadzira mota yako, kune munhu achatouya kuzoita in between, between the company yagadzira and the government. Iyeye ari kunzi in between ndiye watoda kubvisa iyeye. So when you remove that, then you are serious about developing, because you are now serious about focusing the resources on critical things, important things. I know that a lot of people will come and argue and say it's not viable, it can't happen whatsoever. It's because they have not been part and parcel of good governance, good corporate governance. Munhu anounderstanda kuti zvinhu zvinofanira kufamba sei chaizvo chaizvo, zvisiri zvokuti iye adyewo, will tell you the truth. But vana tidyewo, they always have a problem. So this is a good precedent being set in Botswana. I know that it's going to be resisted. I know that it's going to suffer a lot of setbacks. But if he manages to clamp down the setbacks, then you will see Botswana transforming into a better country, and you see things changing for the better and for the good in that country. Thank you very much, everyone. Let us meet in another episode.